In coming up with pornography genocide, Foreign Rabbit in Britain did not act alone. Sociology, if it's good for anything, is good for sporting out what people believe on behalf of those who don't. For example, if you were to take a census, the majority of people in America at the time that Kennedy was in office, you ask them, do you believe our leaders are out to secure the public trust and protect our public schools and Commonwealth? People would have said yes. And those who killed Kennedy would be laughing up their sleeves. I know that's what you believe, and we're going to keep pretending so that you continue to believe that until it's too late. Magna Com once said, well, are you saying Peter Gabriel started AIDS? Because I know that's not true. Well, how do you know that's not true? He's the one who glorified sexually transmitted diseases in his Elephant Man concept on the Lamplights down on Broadway. So came out on something called Gale Force, and he sure seemed to know a lot about what that script was saying by Gail Burstyn. So how do you know that? Looks to me like he was one of the people who was involved in it. Now, a lot of thinking went into the right-wing psychosis of filmmakers who saw an opportunity to use UW dialectical to get people to tear each other apart on the grounds that wounded veterans don't believe in the Hippocratic Oath. They believe in getting even with purported traitors who, as children, provided bukkake for Netanyahu's regulars at sleepovers when they were 9 years old and opposed the Vietnam War on principle. Child molesters get even together. So what we see is the University of Pittsburgh kept George Romero's scripts in the rare book library, in charge of whom was someone who took me to see Night of the Living Dead as a child. We were supposed to see Cabin of Dr. Caligari, but it was switcherooed with a Charlie Chan mystery. His name was Charlie Allison. He recently passed away. We used to go to his house for Christmas. In fact, I was watching his house when So came out. It's where I listened to it, first realized what they'd done. Romero played a clever game with his foreign English buddies. He left the C for copyright off Night of the Living Dead, so foreign English was able to dramatize the idea that they had stolen it. And this created a drama department theme of bad blood between the British. George Romero's script about getting even with Gail Burstyn then became a tug of war, as Brian McCartney would say, sending me postcards from Dr. Dolittle about the push me, pull you. Yet the grip of the concept was all in place. They had a C and a Star of David. They accused me of using human shields. How did I use human shields? Trying to warn people, trying to protect people's lives. The C and the Star of David was a pornographic genocide symbol from John and Yoko. They believed, like the Night of the Living Dead, that people making pornography and affected by AIDS would be ripping at the consumer and saying, you owe us health care. See, it's a dialectical fascist struggle between desperate people. It's a raft of the Medusa concept that Ken Russell, and if you look at the mission had a man who committed a sin, and he was beaten by a Jesuit into redemption. And this is the macabre. They used Truffaut's The Wild Child, Nicholas Roeg's Walkabout. I put on my Twitter the proof that Nicholas Roeg worked with Truffaut, and George Romero worked with Alfred Hitchcock on North by Northwest in a similar capacity to Nicholas Roeg's contribution to Truffaut. So the thinking that went on, They said the whole is greater than the sum of its parts, meaning we don't care if AIDS spreads and we kill a bunch of people because we're going to prevail with Lee Marvin's idea. He admits that he lied all the time in Hollywood. And one of the lies he told was he was for gay rights. He was like, psst, what we do is tell them it's normal and okay, so that way it spreads. He was related to Robert E. Lee, and Liverpool was the hotbed of the Confederacy. But the Foreign Rabbit have this slip knot. They say, oh, but you could have saved John Lennon. But it was all planned by John Lennon. It was a clever escape valve he pulled a Houdini. That's what the evidence shows. And it doesn't matter if you don't believe it. What business do they have torturing an American deaf person? They're helping the people who did it get away because of this macabre claim that because they did it, it belongs to Paul McCartney and Ronald Reagan. In other words, don't protect anybody because the big picture is worth so much money. New Wave confirmed that the story was in the kid's mailbag and put up my birthday. In fact, the only thing she says in English is like Marcel Marceau in Silent Movie, the only person who says any word. No. In Diva, the only thing in English is so you are a real fan because he hitchhiked from Pittsburgh to St. Louis just to steal the Diva's gown. Look at Scene by the Sea and take note that Brother by Takeshi Kitano was the opening statement of cinema about Obama's administration. They decided that they could get over and say, oh, it's a brilliant way to make money to save the earth for ecology, man. You'll be eating Mon beyond beans.